off meeting for our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Being a student athlete, as you all know, is challenging, am I correct? All right. From long days to sleepless nights to being looked at differently by your peers. I think all of you all are leaders in some regard. All of you all have done something for our school that puts us on the podium, which is the purpose of athletics and interscholastic sports. It puts the school on the podium, and many people forget that. Over time, we come in day to day and we think we're just an athlete, or we think that what we do for the school only applies to field competition. And as you all know, we've been trying to build character through community service, going to feed the homeless, Tallahassee Goes Gold, and a lot of different other events. Football, did a 5K run with Gretchen Everhart. And every month we want to concentrate on some aspect of community development, community outreach, and leadership training. With that being said, you all are your sports ambassadors. We're going to have meetings on a monthly basis. I think everybody's familiar with our student section now. Pretty good. I think our football team loves it. Our volleyball team loves it. We have leaders in that group as well. We have spirit leaders. So leadership is the focus. Now, the thing about leadership is actually what? What does every leader have to do? Does anybody know? Okay, lead, but actually provide a service. Stewardship. Being out in the community. You provide a service. You work with people to make them better. That's what leaders do. Leaders influence. You can't influence unless you can listen. Okay? So, every month, we're going to have either a speaker or some type of curriculum that will encompass those things of leadership. You're also going to give me feedback. How can we service each team better? How can we service the school better? How can we build a more cooperative environment here within the school? So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the lead person in today's event, Coach Mickey Clayton.
Thank God. I was coming up to get the agenda, not to tell you to go through it a little bit quicker. That wasn't what I was trying to do. Hello, everybody. Come on, y'all athletes. Some of y'all team captains. I know y'all can speak a little better than that. What's up? That's a little better. That's a little better. Okay. What's up? Okay, hey, I like that. Okay. Insights. I heard something. This is a show of hands. How many people have heard of insights? That's good. That's good. Some of y'all walking in, tell me, oh yeah, I watch y'all every week. We've been here for 3 years. What Insights was my dream of promoting y'all. Y'all being the high school athletes. I had 3 daughters. All of them played basketball. Some of y'all know. We started at the old Florida High. And when they opened this up, they came over here. It always bothered me, one, that I didn't think the student athletes got the attention they deserve. In Tallahassee, you got Florida State, you got Florida A&M. High school is like page 7. It bothered me, state championship time, especially if you basketball, they do a feature on everybody except the star. If you made it to the state championship game, they did a story on you. But if your butt lost before then, you wasn't on there. It bothered me because if I knew so-and-so was good, I'd have went to see them. So y'all tell me that they're good during the year so I can go see them play. That was me. We started this program, we had to get permission from the high school to let us come on their campus and show their games. You think that'd be a no-brainer, right? Woo! What we went through to be able to do that. Florida High was one of the first to say, does it cost us anything for you to do that? I said, no. So you're gonna come on our campus and show our games for free. whole lot of political stuff involved with everything. Each one of y'all who athletes, I don't care what sport you're playing in, you got somebody that don't like you just because you on the team. I'm not gonna even get into that drama. I coached the women's basketball team at Florida A&M. I coached the men's basketball team at Florida A&M. I won championships in both. And coaching men and women are different. Give you one example. Women, I got women who played for me 20 years ago. They said, I saw your teammate, so Coach, you know I ain't never liked her. Why? I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I don't do her. I said, but that was 20 years ago. Coach, I don't care, I don't speak to her. Women have carried something for 25 years. They longer than that. Guys, let's go get some wings and fight and be done with it. They boys. They hang out. They don't carry that stuff. Last example, I had a girls basketball team, they wasn't practicing worth nothing. I said, tell y'all what, y'all get out the gym. Y'all get out, you just get out. Man, they ran me over getting out the gym. The guys, we put them out the gym. Coach, don't put us out, we'll practice. Don't get out the gym. Then what we had to do, we had to go to Dave Street and get them out the gym because they took over Dave Street. Because they're going to play. Doesn't matter. They're going to play. What we have today, we wanted to do something because if you watch this, you don't see an MVP, most points, most touchdowns, nothing. It's always the student with the highest grade in community service. Why? Because that's what's important. Coach Warren will tell you, it don't matter. Coach, I got to get you out of 30 points a game. What's the grades? First thing I want to know. If I have no grades, I'm wasting my time. So we emphasize the academic end for a reason. Doing this, because we want to give you some things to help you grow as a total student athlete. We got some speakers to speak to you. They don't get paid. They come in because they're concerned about you. They want a chance to give you something that you could use as you grow up and go through this thing. They're really pretty good. And I'm gonna get out the way that but everybody has an agenda, right? If you turn it over, if you don't have an agenda, put your hand up. Did we give them one? There's a survey on there. You can kind of fill it out as you go along. We want to know how we did. Because before I go any further, the chairman of my advisory board is in the back. Wave your hand. That's Anthony Miller. That's the chairman of our board. We have our admin, Sharon B. She's the one with the camera. She's probably mad because she gets acknowledged. One of the things you do as you go along the path, and I'm going to introduce Ms. Posey, which needs no introduction. I need the introduction. She don't need it. As you go along the path, you got to find out you got to keep people around you who support you. Do y'all feel what I'm saying? You know that everybody like your friend ain't your friend. Y'all old enough to know that. When you 6 and 7, you might not know that. But now, you got to be around people who want to help you, who believe in you. So I have a young lady here that you see on WTXL. She was an All-American softball player right now. You think I didn't know? She's an All-American softball player at JUCO. She ended up going to University of Florida, graduating from there. She's Tallahassee born, Gainesville bred.
Yeah, take that for what you wish.
One of the reasons I wanted her to do that, because out of me doing this for the last 3 years, she's one of the most sincere, heartfelt people I met in this business who's really concerned about y'all. And while you're here, I want y'all, each one of the people who come up here and speak, get a chance, talk to them. They want a chance to talk to you. They want to know you. But without further ado, I want you to meet Ms. Allison Posey, the first female broadcaster in the state of Florida. Hey, y'all give a bigger hand than that. That's a compliment.
How are you guys doing? Don't watch me fumble over setting up this camera. I know what I'm doing, I swear. All right. Mr. Clayton wanted me to talk to you guys about just kind of the relationship with media. I know most of you guys from coming to practice and talking to you guys, and he's right. Florida High's always been really hands-on, really wants us to be involved. They make our lives a lot easier. So I've talked to several of you, a lot of you guys. But the main thing, I think, who gets nervous when I come to interview you? I know you do, because I'm here this summer and convince you to talk to me. Why do you think when I come set up a camera and talk to you guys, why do you think I'm there? Don't be shy.
To do your job.
Well, to do my job, yes. But why do you think I want to interview you guys?
To learn about us.
To learn about you. Anybody else? Yeah, that's a good reason too. The main reason why I'm there, I mean, it sounds silly, it's because you guys are great. I wouldn't want to talk to you guys if you guys weren't accomplishing anything. When you guys go to Lakeland, we're there. You guys are doing good. When you guys go to the Final Four for football, I'm there. Elite volleyball over the summer, we're there. We talk to you guys because you guys are accomplishing something. So there's no reason to be nervous. Sure, sticking a camera in your face, I'm sure it's not fun. I mean, it's not fun to be put on the spot. But we're there to celebrate you guys and to let everybody know what you've accomplished, how awesome you guys are, how hard you guys work, how that hard work pays off. So be happy, want to share your story. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, but the more you do it, the easier it'll get. And I have news for you guys. Who wants to play college sports? You're going to have your camera stuck in your face a whole lot more than what I'm having. So now is a good time to kind of get used to it. Interviewing skills. Again, a lot easier said than done. And I try to go to a lot of y'all's game. I go to quite a bit. But think of us as just, we're there all the time. We're a friend. We're not here to embarrass you. I'm never going to make you look stupid on TV. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have your mom and dad call me saying, why'd you put Jordan on TV? And she looks stupid. I'm never going to make you look stupid, I promise. We want to make you guys look good. We want to share your story. So the best thing to do when we're interviewing you guys, just act like you're talking to a friend. Just relax. Have fun. If you messed up, what I always tell you, start over. It's okay. We edit it. I'm not going to air it live. It's real easy. We just one-on-one, go back and forth. I ask you questions, you answer. Easy as pie. Who wants to try to be interviewed? I've talked to a lot of y'all before. We'll give you tips. Come on, don't be shy. You ready? Okay, let's go. So when I come to talk to you guys, I have a big camera, the tripod. It looks intimidating. It's not. Oh, we're gonna stand up. That's why the tripod's tall, because you're tall. So, and I'm short. So. All right. Who wants to stand behind the camera with me? See kind of what it looks like behind the scenes. 1, 2, 3, come on. All right. Get everything set up. This is what I'm doing. Like when you're standing in front of me, I'm kind of messing around. Everything's set up. Make sure he's focused. So that's what it looks like. We have the mic. So I'll normally say, we'll just start. He's 5. Say and spell your first last name for me. I'll hold the mic and just look at me. You're good. Hey, you want to know how many people do that? Take a guess. About 9 out of 10. Try to grab the mic. I'll hold it. We'll make it easy.
Maverick Gunn, MAVERICK.
All right. Where is he looking? Did you notice where he's looking?
Bro.
That's where you want to look to the side. You never want to look to the camera. Think about when you're watching TV, guys, and somebody's like staring right into the camera. It looks a little creepy, right? If somebody's staring at you through the TV, always look at the person you're interviewing. That way it's not kind of intimidating. It's just me and you talking, like I said. So, let's see. How's practice going?
Practice went pretty good today. We did drills and worked on our play.
What are you most looking forward to this season?
It's a good season. Looking forward to getting better with my teammates, getting up my coaches, hopefully win state for sure.
How, you guys mentioned being a team and everything, being a family. You think that's going to be kind of the thing that takes you over the edge this year?
Yes, we had a lock-in, monitored together.
Pardon the interruption. Daniel Jeffers, please meet your
He
ride
likes
in the
that.
back
That was
of the
good,
school.
right? But see how he
Jeffers,
engaged,
please
answered the
meet your ride in
question,
the back of the
had
school.
fun, relaxed, just like we're talking. I mean, you wouldn't talk. That's like if you're talking to your friend, you call your grandma. How'd practice go today? That's how you want to answer. You're not going to say, oh, it was good. Everyone wants to know how you're doing. So that you want to call, say what's going on, very relaxed. And again, he looked at me, because it's creepy. So always look at me. You did good, good job. Easy five. Does anybody have any questions about interviewing? Again, like I said, the best thing to do is just relax. If you mess up, not a big deal. You start over. Everybody messes up. Your coaches mess up. It's not live. You go back and you edit it, and we're gonna make you look good. I promise you. Our goal is not to embarrass you. We're gonna make you look good. How much time do I have?
What happens if somebody asks them a question that they really don't want to answer?
If you don't want to answer it, that's fine. Sometimes we come out and we talk to you guys about tough things, and if you don't want to talk about it or you don't feel comfortable talking about it, just say, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on. I'm never going to pry something out of you that you don't feel comfortable talking about or you don't want to talk about. We want to share your stories. We want to tell everybody again how great you guys are doing, things you're doing to better the community, to better the Florida High family. You know, we talked about tough things. Losing Cam was a tough thing. That applies to you guys directly. But us being able to share his story, you guys helped us do that. So his friends talking, Coach Hickman talking, Coach McGriff talking, you guys helped us do that. And again, it's not easy to talk about. And there were some questions that people said, you know what, I really don't want to talk about. And that's fine. Never going to pry things out of you. But it is good to share. And that is how we tell your guys' stories, is to share and to talk. But again, I'm never going to say, no, you have to answer that. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to do that to you guys. But like I said, our goal is to make you look good and to share your story and tell the community how great you guys are doing. And by us talking to you, and again, I know it's not easy. This is intimidating, but it does get easier over time. And
Pardon the interruption, Landon Hallmark.
we want to make you look
Please
good.
seat your ride in the front of the school.
Do
Landon
you
Hallmark.
want me to talk about
Please
social
seat your
media
ride
real
in
quick?
front of the school.
Yes.
Okay. Another thing that he wanted me to talk about today. Nobody has any other questions. Anybody have anything real quick? Good to go? Social media is huge nowadays, and I carry around this big old equipment, camera, tripod, microphone. For you guys that run track, what do people do after your races? They do this. Even basketball, they stick the cell phone in your face. This is enough media nowadays to people to do interviews, get highlights. We have people sometimes send us highlights on cell phones, and I'll run it on TV. The iPhone shoots quality, honestly, better quality than this camera. Isn't that crazy? I'm not kidding. iPhone quality can be better than camera quality. So media is everywhere now. And one thing about social media that's really important to remember, it can be your best friend, it can also be your worst enemy. How many of you guys have Twitter? Just about everybody? You don't have a Twitter? You might be like the only one. That's awesome. Twitter can be really good in marketing yourself. A lot of people, like, you have your picture and you'll have a bio. Say what position you play. You know, I'm a point guard, I have a 3.8 GPA, I average 12 points per game, 6 assists per game. It's like a resume. So when a coach comes and they're looking at you and they click on your Twitter profile, that's the first thing they see. It can also be your worst friend, because if you're posting pictures, questionable activity that you're doing, hey, I went out to a party over the weekend, I had a great time, you might not want to put a picture about that on social media, because I can promise you that college coaches are looking at it. I have coaches every single year that direct message me on Twitter and say, hey, we're a couple roster spots short. Do you have any recommendations? If there's pictures of you on your Twitter page, drinking a beer, folding wads of cash everywhere, do you think I'm going to recommend you to that college coach? Absolutely not, because that's my name that's tied to you. If you have a Twitter profile that shows your family, what you did over the weekend, do what? Bible verses is a great thing. You want to show how you live your life. I mean, if you go out and you go to the lake and you're water skiing on the lake, that's a good thing to have on there. But just be smart about what you post. Social media didn't really, anybody know what MySpace is?
Yeah.
It's a throwback. MySpace was popular when I was in high school, and that was it. Now you have Twitter, Facebook, I don't even know all the stuff that you got, Snapchat. There's been so many things on hazing incidences posted posted on Snapchat that, guess what, have gotten kids kicked off of programs, gotten them suspended, in trouble. Just be careful about what you post because somebody is always watching. All it takes is 1 second to hold out a phone, press record, and that moment is sealed in time forever. It does not disappear, I can promise you that. You think about all the athletes that have gotten in trouble over the past couple years, on draft days, pictures resurfacing from 5-6 years ago. It happens, guys. Who watched the Major League All-Star game this year? Baseball. Before the end of the game was over, there were racist tweets that came out about one of the pitchers in the game before the game was even over. Because people will sit online and search that stuff to try to ruin your career. Do not post stupid stuff on social media. I don't want to cover it. I don't want to talk about it. All you guys are great. You guys are great kids. Just be very, very smart about what you post online. Because people that, Mr. Clayton was talking about people that don't like you, there are people that don't like you, and they will search and find stuff. So just be smart. You guys are great kids. I'm not worried about you. Any questions real quick before I'm done? Interviewing, social media?
Y'all give her a hand. When I was on campus, people who applied for jobs in our office, before we even interviewed them, we researched their social media page.
100%. We just hired a new employee. She doesn't step foot in our building until next month. Guess what? I've already stalked her Facebook, her Twitter, and her Instagram. I know everything about her. She seems great. We'll find out.
Find out. When they do career center and companies come in and interview the college graduates, I've heard stories how they made them go to their Facebook page and then unlock their page and read their stuff.
Mhm. Just because it's on private does not mean that it's private.
Exactly.
There
And
are
we appreciate
trolls
you.
that'll find it.
Our next person, Michael Sue, she's gonna speak to you about a subject that's really dear to her, domestic violence. You read a lot about it, happening with people, particularly unfortunately a lot with athletes, male athletes, how they treat their girlfriends, things that they do. Understanding a little bit about abuse and this subject. I think it was Northeast graduate, currently working on a PhD.
No, the Southeast
Okay. And Michael Sue's gonna talk to you about it. It's really, she has been wanting to get to the athletes because it's a subject that's dear to her. And you could pick up, you could read something in the paper every day about an athlete doing something, or a girlfriend who refuses to leave a man's house. You know, I didn't know that if she had got mail at his house, that it was in her residence, that she could claim it because she had mail come to the house. I was like, wow. So, a lot of you who have, I'm speaking to the guys, listen to me, young ladies. When your mom and dad tell you about somebody, y'all might wanna listen. If she tell you that ain't the girl for you, don't get all dug in and say, I'm gonna prove a point, because the point you prove is that she was right. And right now, you could probably think of a girlfriend that you were bothered with that your mama told you wasn't right for you, and you're like, oh, geez, I should listen to my mom. Girls do the same thing too now. Because us daddies, real protective. Man, you bring him home one more time, let me usually put it on your mom. Like, you know your mom ain't gonna like him. But really, it's us who don't like him. I stayed big for a reason. In case I had to grab somebody, I'd grab him. If I was one of my daughters, there's gonna be some furniture moving. Michael Sue.
Well, good afternoon. As he said, I am Michael Sue Jenefsky, and I have a company called the Intimacy Network, and that means into me I see. Okay? When I work with women and a few men, I guide them to overcome their emotional pain area, and in PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. And part of the reason that I am an expert in this is because I was married to someone who was a very abusive person and a very active alcoholic. Domestic violence is all about power and control, okay? That abuser wants power and control over you. And guys, don't think that because you're big and strong and you play on the team, that a girl can't abuse you. It happens all the time, okay? I see it constantly. Girls, it's really hard when somebody's telling you over and over and over again that you can't do this or you can't do something without me. Not to believe them. You know, we're taught to believe people. So, let me explain to you, when I say domestic violence, what do you think about? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say domestic violence? Hitting. Eating. Okay, I'm gonna get to words. You hang on to that one. I'm gonna get to words in just a second. But you think about somebody physically hitting you, somebody abusing you in some way, that maybe they cut you, maybe they stab you, they give you a bloody nose, they knock you down, they push you around. That's what most people think. That's what most of the world thinks that domestic violence is. Not so. The majority of domestic violence, verbal, emotional, spiritual, mental, sexual, financial. Okay? A lot of women that are abused, and some men who are abused. Most of it's verbal. It's that constant talking, that constant berating, that constant, you are not good enough. You can't do this without me. Who are you without me? I'm what keeps you in this house. I support you. Really? Well, when you hear it over and over and over, you know, at first you think, no, that's not me. But then they keep saying it, and all of a sudden you think, maybe they're right. Maybe that's the way it is. And then all of a sudden, the day comes and you think, oh my gosh, I am nothing without them. I can't walk away. Well, that's how it works. When I did my domestic violence intense training, the speaker told all of us in the room that a woman leaves and goes back an average of 7 times. And I sat there and I counted it up on my fingers, and I went, oh my God. I left and I went back 7 times. It was the first time I ever felt normal. Question?
Leave what come back to what? What do you mean? Why would you come back?
A woman generally leaves and comes back an average of 7 times. Okay?
Oh,
Yeah. She goes ahead, she says, that's it, I'm done. Now, some people leave at the first sign and say, I'm out of here. Some people leave the first time they ever, raise their voice, raise their hand. Gone. And then there are some that just think they can't do it. And there's a lot of different reasons why people don't leave. They're afraid. Fear pushes us to everything. Fear is a great motivating factor for us. And so when we're afraid of something, that's, we stay away from it. And a lot of times, it's the children. They're afraid that they're going to lose their children. They're afraid that there's pets involved. Is he going to kill it? Is he or she going to kill the animal? What about the money? Can I make enough to support myself? Can I live on my own? And sometimes, just the fear of the unknown, oh my gosh, what's it going to be like when I leave? Well, that's worse than what it's like when I stay. You know, I know what I've got here. He's an abusive, But if I leave, am I gonna make it? That's scary. That's scary. So that's some of the reasons why people don't leave, or they leave and they go back. Domestic violence causes PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, you hear about it all the time in the news, how people go to war and they come back and they've got this horrible disorder called PTSD, and they can't sleep at night, they can't function, they can't focus. A loud noise goes off and they're underneath the table, and we're thinking, what's going on? You know, we're not at war. What's happening? Why can't they come back here and be like everybody else? Well, that's what happens in domestic violence, is people become afraid. And it goes on. You know, those physical, you know, somebody beats me physically, well, the bruises heal. And then, you know, a week from now, you don't know that I've been abused. But that verbal and that emotional abuse lingers and it stays. And it's really difficult to get beyond that. PTSD doesn't go away. It is managed. You can deal with it. You can cope with it. You learn what to do and what not to do. And that's part of what I teach, is what to do and what not to do. Let me get into the stats of this. And the stats are really going to freak you out. So let me read to you what the stats are on this. 20 people per minute are abused. And that equals, 10 million women and men per year. So it's 1 in 3 men and 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men. 1 in 15 children. How many kids are in this school? Somebody, anybody, numbers?
1,700.
1,700. About 1,700. So 1 in 15 are abused. Okay? So everybody sitting in this room knows somebody. They may not talk about it, but you know somebody that's going to school right here that's been abused in some way, or they've been affected by the abuse. Okay? 90% of those 15 children, those 1 in 15 children, have witnessed domestic violence. Yes?
Wait, like, is like abuse like when it happens like often, or like does it even count as like one time? Like if they hit you like one time?
One time is abuse. Nobody has the right to put their hands on you. Nobody. There are 20,000 calls made daily to the domestic violence hotline. That's a lot of phone calls. Figure that out over a year. And these numbers are low because it's highly underreported. Most people never, ever open their mouths about it, never say a word. Homicide is 500% more likely to happen in a domestic violence situation where there's a gun. And 19% of domestic violence reports show that there was a weapon involved of some sort. Now, you're gonna think, oh, they were probably drunk on alcohol or using other drugs. Possibly, but guess what? That's not the reason for domestic violence. That's not the reason somebody does this. A lot of times, the kids aren't involved, but more times than not, they are. If somebody came to came at your mama, let's say your daddy comes at your mama and hits her, what are you gonna do? Honestly. Okay? Okay. He might not be coming after you. He might only be going after her. He might not be abusing you. But Are you right? Are you wrong? It doesn't matter. That's not the question. The question is that you are affected and you become involved in this. So living in a house where abuse is going on, you hear it, you see it, you're affected by it. All of a sudden, are you gonna bring kids home to your house? You wanna have a party at your house with an abusive parent? I wouldn't think so. My kids didn't. They didn't want anybody around their daddy. And he didn't abuse them. He abused me. He didn't abuse them. So it goes on. STIs are higher in families where there's abuse. A lot of times there's sexual abuse with the children. So it all happens. It's not pretty. It's not nice. It's a really hard subject to talk about. And what do you do if you're being abused? If your mom or dad's being abused? Or if you know somebody that's being abused? You go and you talk to somebody that you trust. You know, whether it's a counselor here at school, a favorite teacher, your coach, a neighbor that you can trust. But there's help available, okay? And if for nothing else, I have business cards with me, okay? You know, you see the picture with the lady and the little puppy dog, the 4-pound Yorkie that's, you know, that works with people. That's, you know, you go and you call me, I'll give you my card, but you get in touch with me. There is help out there. And remember, if you know somebody, don't judge them, be their friend. And just be honest with them, that you want to help them and you want to be their friend. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Next person I asked him to talk to you about financial advice. Well, one of the things I wanted to tell you about this gentleman is being FSU Seminoles. This gentleman right here is the man who created the concept, Chief Osceola and Renegade, as a student at Florida State. His family is the family who owns the horses, takes care of the horses. He's in the FSU Hall of Fame, my Kiwanis brother. And the story of it, I let him decide which story he wants to share with you. But out of any school, we thought that you might be the one that would appreciate how all that got started. He's the man who started it right there. I'd like to introduce to you the legendary Hall of Famer from Florida State, Bill Durham.
Thank you, Mickey.
How do you like?
I appreciate you inviting me to come and be here today. It's quite an honor. I'm in the Hall of Fame at FSU. I never blocked anybody, never tackled anybody, never called a pass. And yet, I appreciate the honor very much, and it has to do with the creation of Osceola and Renegade. And I'll tell you a little bit about that, but I was trying to figure out when Mickey called me, because I'm a financial planner by profession, and we talked a little bit about, you know, finances. I don't know, when I was your age, I don't think I'd want to hear somebody talking a whole lot about planning. But I'll tell you this, and I use it, I just used it the other day. If you come to my office, like for you to come one day, I have a history of pictures of Osceola and Renegade through the years, which started in 1978. But also, you're gonna see a rabbit and a turtle. Now, some folks would say that's a tortoise and a hare, but I grew up in a little old tiny small town in South Georgia, and we called it a turtle and a rabbit. Now, this is a financial lesson I'm gonna share with you. I don't care if you got $1 million or $10.73. Savers win the financial championships of life, not gamblers. And I sit down with people that are very well off, and I tell them that. And I'll put out my little rabbit and my turtle. So let me tell you something, it's like this. Here's Teresa the turtle, here's Rusty the rabbit, and the race is on for life. Rusty's a lot faster, he takes off, you know. He gets way out ahead of Teresa. She just easing along, easing along, easing along, ever mindful of the path to the end of the race. Now old Rusty, he's out there running good, and he looks over there and that's a big old carrot patch. What does he do? He takes off to the right. He eats his fill of carrots. Then he gets up, he overtakes Teresa again. She's easing along, she's easing along. Rusty's up there, he's running good. Over here, he sees some cabbages. He goes to the cabbage. All of a sudden, a big storm comes. A big storm. Rusty remembers, not far from where they started from, there was a big hole. I'm going to go back that way and get in that hole. Get out of the storm. Teresa just withdraws into her God-given protection, her shell. Storm's over, sun comes out. Rusty wakes up, takes off, gets way up ahead of Teresa, way ahead of Teresa. Teresa's easing along, easing along. But as Rusty's running, he sees what he's coming to. And he gets to what he sees. It's a huge, huge lake. And on the other side is the finish line. Rusty said, oh, what am I going to do? What can I do? What in the world am I going to do? I can't do that, I'll drown. Teresa arrives at the shore. She looks over to Rusty and she said, Rusty, there's not one way she's going to get across that big lake. You need to hold on to my shell, and I'm going to swim both of us across to safety at the finish line. That's the story that Bill Durham tells about the difference in gamblers, speculators, and savers. Now, does that mean we don't ever want a Rusty in the race? Yeah, but we wouldn't take a 100-meter sprinter and have him run a 10-mile race, would we? We'd want a long-distance runner. That's all I'm going to talk about in answers. How did Renegade Osceola? First of all, I grew up in Bainbridge. My family lost everything they had financially at the end of my junior year in high school. And when all friends were talking about where they were going to school and applying to this college and this and that and the other, I was not a part of that conversation. And had no plans to go anywhere. But there was a teacher that I had, a teacher that cared so much about me. And he called me, and he said, Bill, I'm going to pick you up at 8 o'clock. Saturday morning, I'm taking you down to Florida State. I had not applied to Florida State. This is August, before you're supposed to be in school in September. And he took me to Florida State. I won't bore you with the whole story, but that's how that I came to Florida State. And I have a great friend. He was a pastor of a Baptist church in Atlanta. And whenever I say something about coincidence, he always tells me, said, Bill, there's no such thing as a coincidence. The good Lord gives us a roadmap. A lot of times we don't want to believe it. It's a miracle that Bill Durham came to Florida State. The year before last, I was asked to speak to the incoming freshmen coming to school. I tell them the same stories I'm sharing with you, that things like that happen in your life. But what's so very important is that when you're going through hard times and you're going through troubled waters, and you keep thinking about these rapids you're on, but then, you hang in there. You stay with your boat, and things settle down. And you think back, you know what? If I hadn't gotten into all those rocks and rapids up there and almost turned the boat over, this good thing would not have happened. Along those lines, and this is a little bit about finance. Any of y'all ever had a part-time job? Maybe had raise your hand. You had a part-time job. Yeah. Well, part-time jobs, you ever thought about what you learned from every one? I have a great friend. He's a team doctor at FSU. We've been friends since we were in school together 100 years ago. And we were talking about the things we learned from part-time jobs. The way I was brought up was, you say yes ma'am, you say yes sir. When you shake somebody's hand, that's what you agree to do or not to do. You're always on time. There ain't no hanging out. You can be involved in activities of school, or you can be working. And occasionally, we got to go camping on the Flint River and fish. Occasionally. Well, life is kind of like that. There was an old country preacher riding down this road. He traveled all over this county, but as he went down this road, he felt like I've never been down here before. And so he comes to a beautiful farm. There's a house all freshly painted, and there's a farmer out in this field plowing. And he just said, this is such a great, beautiful place. So he pulls off the side of the road. He walks up there to wait for the farmer on the tractor to come down to the fence. And the farmer does. When he gets down there, he turns that tractor off. He takes that straw hat off. He wipes his face. Preacher said, Mr. Farmer, I'm just an old country preacher. I've been traveling these parts for a long, long time, but I don't think I've ever been down your road. This is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. I mean, it is really beautiful. The farmer looked around at that beautiful home, and he looked at those fields. The preacher said, you know what? The good Lord has certainly blessed you. The farmer said, yes, sir, this is a beautiful place. Me and Mama, we're quite proud of it. But you should have seen this when the Lord was taking care of it right by himself. What does that mean, Bill? What that means is every one of us is given the farm of life. What is yours going to look like? What is it going to look like? I'll tell you the quick story about Renegade and Osceola, but I'm going to skip to something. It was a year, our number one horse. He is the most athletic horse we have ever had in the program. Now, a lot of them don't make it. It's like a lot of them don't make the volleyball team or the basketball team or the band or the cheerleaders. A lot of people don't make it. A lot of horses don't make it. This guy was so athletic. I brought him in one early morning, and I noticed it looked like milk coming out of one of his eyes. I called the vet. He comes over. He examines it. The horse had cancer in his eye. Recommended we take him to the University of Georgia because they have a good ophthalmology clinic there in the vet school. So we took him there. He said, no, this is a very rare kind of cancer. It's fast spreading. You need to take him to North Carolina State. So we did. Said the only thing we can do to stop this cancer from going to the rest of his body, much less his other eye, is to remove his eye. So they did. Well, it didn't work from spreading to the other eye, and they took the other eye out. The horse is blind, totally blind. Obviously couldn't use him anymore. But let me tell you about that horse. He's still alive today. He is still alive today. The other day I was bringing him in, and I'll tell you, there was a couple of horses behind him. And he heard him coming up on him. He turned around and said, I might be blind, but I can kick your butt. He doesn't feel sorry for himself. He's still proud to be a beautiful horse. But I was thinking, when we first got news and removing both eyes, how is he going to find his way around the pasture? How is he going to find the water? How is he going to do that? How is he going to stay out of the wood? How is he going to do that? I put a bell on his best friend. I put a bell on his best friend. He listens to that bell. He listens. He can go anywhere he wants to. He knows where the water is. If you came out to our place, you would never believe that horse had no eyes. And the thing that I want to tell you, the thing I want to really put inside of you, somebody you don't even know, you've never thought about, they're listening to your bell. They're listening to your bell. What does your bell sound like? What's your farm going to look like? What does that mean? That means that whatever you do, whether it's athletics, or it's education, or it's working in a job, you do the very best you can. And then you're always trying to think, how can I make the next time the next very best I can? You see, somebody's listening to your bell. Have a farm. I was a student at Florida State University back in the 60s. Coach Bowden had been rehired. He was actually an assistant coach when I was there. He coached under Coach Bill Peterson. And he came back from West Virginia. Y'all know the story. I was in a meeting out at FSU because I couldn't get people when I was a student at FSU to listen to me about my idea. I'd always had a passion for horses and Native Americans. I thought it'd be a great idea and introduce it at homecoming. And we'd have a student that would play the role of Osceola, which was the best well-known name in the Seminole Nation, to ride a Native American horse out with a spear with a fire on the end of it, and right after the coin toss, we'd slam that spear in the ground, and I think people liked that. But nobody else did. Nobody did. I went to the faculty senate. I was just a kid, just a student, trying to work my way through school. They didn't think much of it. But when Coach Bowden came back here, I started telling you about it. I was in this meeting, and they said, you know, we've hired Coach Bowden from West Virginia, our head coach. We've about finished up his contract. But there's some financial things that have to do with benefits that we had. I got up, left the meeting. We used to call it the Fieldhouse, Charlie. Now we got all kinds of athletics and all that. Back then it was the Fieldhouse. I went over to the Fieldhouse. I walked down the hall. Miss Sue wasn't there. She wasn't even his secretary right there at that particular moment. Nobody was there. I walked down the hall. Coach Bowden is sitting behind his desk. He's got an unlit cigar he's chewing on, and he's got these little glasses on his nose. He's sitting there looking like this. I walk in. He looks up at me. I said, Coach Bowden, you don't know me. I'm Bill Durham. I just left the meeting. They said they hadn't quite finished up all your contract having to do with financial things, like deferred compensation, annuities, et cetera. I said, you know, you must be a pretty good football coach. You wouldn't have been hired. You wouldn't be here. I dare say, though, you don't really know a whole lot about financial instruments. You know what he said? Can't even spell it. I said, well, I can, and I'm the best in this town. And with your permission, I'd be honored to sit on your side of that table and make sure Florida State does the best thing they can for you. He said, you do that? I said, I'd be honored. And I did. Fast forward, I'm sitting in his living room, and he and his wife, Ann, and we just talking. He said, Bill, he said, you know, we need to do something to start a tradition here. I said, what happened to the guy that used to turn the backflips down the field? Now, y'all all too young to remember that. What happened to that? He turned backflips out in front of the team as we took the field. Whatever happened to all that? I said, well, I'm not sure. But at one time, Florida State got in a real bad trouble financially. They started cutting programs, and they cut out our gymnastics program. So I think those athletes probably came from gymnastics, but I don't know, but quit doing it. He said, well, when I was in West Virginia, we'd have a guy, he came out and had a coonskin cap, and he had all of this mountaineer-looking stuff on, and he would fire a musket before the game, and the fans would just go crazy. He said, we need to do something to begin tradition at Florida State. I said, well, I got this idea I've had since I was a student. I couldn't get anybody to listen to me. And the more I talked about it, the more excited he got. He could see it where others couldn't see it. Bobby Bowden could see it. One thing a lot of people don't know about him, first of all, you know this, he's the absolute best public speaker ever that God ever put on the face of this earth. Ain't nobody is a better public speaker than Coach Bowden. Part of that is he was an entertainer. A lot of people don't know this about him. He played the band. He played trombone in the band. He played the band. Loved music. He loved entertainment. He could see it. He said, Bill, will you make that happen? I said, if you'll loan me Ann. He said, loan you Ann? I said, yeah, because a lot of people ain't going to want it. He said, no. I said, yeah, believe me. And I won't be able to find you to make sure they even let us come out there. But she can. They'll find you. He said, let's do it. That's how it started. Very next day, I called the athletic director. I won't call his name. So let me take you to lunch. Got an idea I discussed with Coach Bowden last night. This is what we want to do. He said, you can't do that. You can't put a horse on the field. You can't do that. I said, well, let me tell you something. I'm fixing to leave tomorrow. I'm going down to Brighton Reservation to meet with the chief of the Seminole tribe of Florida, Chief Howard Tommy. And if he likes the idea, we're going to do it anyway. That man never spoke to me the rest of his time at FSU for that day forward. I went down to see Howard Tommy. I Told me what I wanted to do. I said, I don't want to do this though without your blessings. First of all, people that don't really know their history, all they see, Seminole Indians in a dugout canoe in the swamps. They don't realize they were great horsemen. He said, oh, let me tell you about my grandfather's horses. And he said, Bill, I'll tell you what. I said, I was telling him we want to try to be as authentic as we can. We know we cannot be 100% authentic. Nobody's still living that lived back then. He said, well, if you'll furnish the money to pay for the supplies, I'll get the ladies of the reservation to make your first regalia for you. And he did. He sent it to me on the Trailway bus. 2 years ago, he and I were honored together at Bright Reservation at their rodeo. They had rode us out in the rodeo thing in a golf cart together. And we spent the rest of the day talking. And I said, Chief Tommy, you remember you sent me that first regalia on the Trailways bus? He said, Bill, we didn't have FedEx. We didn't. And unfortunately, Chief Tommy was killed about a year and a half ago in a bad automobile accident. What a fine man. And when the NCAA tried to get Florida State University to not use the Seminole name, not have our Osceola and renegade tradition, in the hearings with the NCAA, our president at that time, T.K. Webber, said, let me tell y'all something. Number one, we don't have to be in the NCAA. Secondly, until the Seminole tribe of Florida says they don't want us to do this, we're going to continue to do it. That was the end of any discussion with the NCAA. The Seminole tribe, they lost. There was a whole bunch of them with us this weekend. My son and my son Alan runs our team on the field now. I stand back and criticize. I don't do a whole lot. We've stayed in their homes. They come up here, they stay with us. They're true, close, most beautiful friends. We played Auburn in the national championship in Pasadena, California. My son Alan called me and said, Daddy, we won't take the horse out there. I said, well, good. Tell ESPN to send a plane in here, an agri-plane, we'll fly him out there. He said, they're not going to do that. I said, they want him bad enough, they would. Oh, Daddy, we can drive him out there, my brother and I, and we can go, and you can go with us, help us drive him. And I said, no, I'm not going. That's 2,600 miles. Our horses are not used to traveling that far, and you can lame a horse up just in him standing in a straight. I vote no, but to show you how much voting credit I have. They grin, they go. I'm not going. I get a call from Seminole Tribe of Florida. Said, Mr. D, we understand you're not going to the championship game against Auburn in Pasadena. Nope, not going. Yeah, you are. We want you and Coach Bowden at 5:30 a.m. on Wednesday before the game to be out at the airport. We're going to pick you up in our plane. So the Seminole Tribe of Florida picked up Coach Bowden and me, and Coach Bowden spent several days with the Seminole Tribe. He generally goes to the championship games because, you know, he's the one that gives the main address to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I say this to you too. If you're not involved with FCA, you really, really need to check it out, consider it. I want to thank you for coming. I'll be glad to hang around, and I know y'all got other things to do. Oh, number one, grades come first. Let me tell you one more thing. So how to get to be a rider. Number one, you have to be able to get in school. Number two, you have to maintain a 3-point grade point average. We can find riders all over the country, but they don't have the grades. You have to have good grades. You have to have excellent grades, and it's tougher than ever. Make your farm count. Thank y'all for listening to it.
We want to thank those of you who stayed. Please fill out our questionnaire for us so we'll kind of know our survey, just how to deal and how to get better, make the better activity. Those of you with your cell phones, you can follow us on Twitter, we're on Facebook, Instagram. Some of y'all already on. If you're on Twitter, YouTube, and you subscribe to us, when we do a game, it'll notify you that we're doing one. Cause we'll be doing, I think we have another football game, and we'll do several men and women's basketball games. But I thank y'all for being here. This was just something personal that I wanted to do, to get to some of the student athletes and hear some of the great speakers that are in this community that really wanted a chance to talk to you.
I want to say something. One of the things that I didn't get to share because I thought I was running everybody out of the room. I thought I scared everybody off and turned out it was a coach. Abusers, most of the time, were abused. Okay? I want y'all to remember that. Pass that on to your friends.
Well, why you
It's
come home and
really-
say that?
I don't know, I just felt like holding on.
No, hold on,
Because
baby.
you're my butt.
Okay.
Yeah. Abusers, most of the time, were abused. And abusers don't stop until they decide they want to stop. There's nothing that any of us can do to make them stop. So, I just wanted y'all to know that. That was probably the most important piece of anything I had to say. So, think about that.
Share what you learned. Share what you learned. Y'all see me? Y'all holler at Coach Clayton. Don't walk by me like you don't know me. Y'all holler at Coach Clayton. You understand?
Yes, sir.
See, some of y'all know you before you knew yourself. All right? I don't call no names. I won't do that. I won't call no names. So I played at FAMU. I had a lot of teammates. I know a lot of people in the area. Know his. I know his grandparents. So we know I go a long way with him. But Florida High, thank y'all, because y'all have really been supportive of INSiiGHTS. And out of the places we go, we love coming here. We walk in the gym and people speak to us. Oh, y'all got the game on? Y'all live stream? I can get instant replay. Let me pull it up. And they let y'all parents know. We got people have seen their sons and daughters in jail. And they've never seen them play, and they got it on in jail. They got relatives out of town that they go on and they watch it. College coaches. We had a game last week. We had 10 college football coaches sitting in the area we were and went up and pulled the games up. They said, how many years back y'all go? I said, 3 years. So I could find out about them before. I said, yeah, you can. If it's a school you want to go to, get the link and send it to them. That's why we do it. All that stuff is free. You ain't paying to subscribe. No, it's up there free. It's just what we want to do to help. All right? So y'all holler at me now. But follow us on social media. Coach McGriff, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Before you get up and leave, like I said, this committee, for those of you who stayed, is going to be something unique for our school. Going to be something that you all are going to enjoy being a part of. You're going to learn from. I'm going to learn from. And that's a part of life, it's a constant learning process. I think Mr. Durham talked about he used the scenario to turn us into hair. But those things go far beyond just trying to go fast. One thing I took away from this story was preparation with what you're naturally blessed with. I think everybody in here has a gift. And it's our job to use our gift in a way that not only uplifts us, but uplifts others. You use the term tortoise. You got a shell. That's a gift. And then he turned around and used that gift to help someone else. What are you doing with your gifts? What are you doing with your blessings? For me, this opportunity is a blessing for me. As you all know, this is my second year. This academy isn't just for you all, it's for me too. That's a part of growing. You use your gifts to help others. You use your blessings. Now, from this, in the monthly meetings that we have, we need to take these gifts, these blessings, these lessons, and apply it to our everyday life? How are you going to go and take the lessons that you learned in here and use it out in the school? Mr. Durham also talked about your farm. What does your farm look like? I had a saying that I use, and that's always been a part of me from college. I said, let the life I live speak for me. Let the life that you live speak for you. So, 50 years down the line, if someone says Maverick, what are they saying when they say Maverick? Was Maverick a leader? Was Maverick a follower? Did Maverick listen? Someone says Coach Marshall. What type of coach was Coach Marshall? Someone says Jordan Rozier. What's the first thing that comes to mind when they say Jordan Rozier? All those things are a part of your brand. What type of brand do you want to have? Are you going to be like Nike, where it doesn't take much and they recognize the swoosh? Or are you going to be another off-brand, an imitation brand? Okay? And last but not least, who's listening to your bell? That's going into your brain. I think we talked about many different aspects. What I heard today was a constant message of branding. From social media etiquette, to interview skills, to stories about how you impact others, being disciplined to follow your route. I hope that this committee comes together in a way that has never happened at Florida High. There's an opportunity for us to nominate someone for the state student athlete athletic committee, academic committee, advisory. Each year, the state has a nomination form. I want someone from this group to represent our area. When it comes time to stand up for what's right, I want someone from this group to stand up for your peers. When you get in the game and everything goes against you, you're getting blown out. And there will come a time in your life where things aren't going to go for you in competition. And when that happens, are you going to start pointing the finger? Or are you going to say, hey, it's okay, we're going to rebound, or we're going to recoup at halftime, whichever one? How are you going to respond? This is how we respond. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. I think your coaches proved that they were proud of you. All right? Make sure tonight we have another opportunity to gain a little bit of knowledge in NCAA recruiting. Some of you that are being, your bell's being rung constantly, want to be there. Okay? If your bell hasn't been rung yet, it's okay. All right? Does anybody else want to have any closing statements? Athletes, anybody have anything to say? Thank you, possibly?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all welcome.
All right, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Y'all do me a favor and fill out the survey?
Yes, make sure you fill out your surveys, turn those in. Hey, and let's do this. Remember, anytime you go somewhere, leave it better than the way you found it. Look underneath, make sure you put chairs on top so the custodians can come in and vacuum. Throw your trash away.
Thank you.
Hear me. I'm just trying to get out. Yeah. Tony, you wanna help me pull this up? I'm gonna send a message out to all of you all. It's gonna be next month. Same, it's gonna be second Monday.